in defense of this glorious nation. My white stripes signify the burning tears shed by Americans who lost their sons. My blue field is indicative of God's heaven under which I fly, and my stars clustered together, unified 50 states as one for God and country. Old Glory is my nickname, and proudly I wave on high. Honor me, respect me, defend me with your lives and fortunes. Never let my enemies tear me down from my lofty position, lest I never return. Keep alight the fires of patriotism. Strive earnestly for the spirit of your eternal God. Worship eternal God, keep his commandments, and I shall remain the bulwark of peace and freedom for all mankind. I am your flag. You know, I'm sure that most of you adult citizens have a time in your past when the flag was particularly poignant, maybe over the coffin of a loved one being put to rest. Maybe rising, going past on a parade or rising up in the morning with taps. And I have such an event in my life, if you don't mind, I'd like to share it with you just now. You see, I was in Vietnam. That war was fought principally out of helicopters. They put our boys into helicopters. They rose into the air and went off into the jungles, rice paddies, and mountains of Vietnam. That flag was flying in the breeze as they left. And you know, when the helicopter rose, you looked around one last time before you went off to fight. And generally, the last thing you saw was the highest thing on the post. That usually was the flag of our country. That flag was the last thing thousands of our boys saw before they died fighting for your and my freedom. But on the other hand, when we came back, it was the first thing we saw. I mean, it's like coming home. Okay, you're still 10,000 miles away, but you're back to safety. And I'll tell you, that's quite a feeling. Goosebumps. That's my special occurrence in my life. You know, our flag has presided over a number of battles and skirmishes, over the deaths of what is fast approaching 2 million of our citizens who died fighting for the principles of freedom. I'd like to give you an example of a few of those battles and skirmishes that our flag has presided over. I walked through a county courthouse square. On a park bench, an old man was sitting there. I said, "Your old flagpole there is leaning a bit, and man, that's a ragged old flag you've got hanging on it." "Have a seat," he said, and I sat down. "Is this the first time you've been to our little town?" I said, "I think it is." Willie said, "I don't like to brag, but we're kind of proud of that ragged old flag. You see, we got a little hole in that flag there when Washington took it across the Delaware. And he got powder burns the night Francis Scott Key sat watching it, writing, 'Oh, say, can you see?' It got a bad rip in New Orleans when Jackson and Packingham took it on the scene. It almost fell at the Alamo beside the Texas flag. But then going through. She got cut with a sword at Chancellorsville. Cut again at Shiloh Hill." He said there was Robert E. Lee, Beauregard, and Bragg. Man, the south wind blew hard on our ragged old flag. He said on Flanders Field in World War I, she got a big hole from a Bertha gun. She turned blood red in World War II and hung limp and low a time or two. She was in Korea, Kuwait, and Vietnam. She went where she was sent by her Uncle Sam. She waved from our ships upon the briny foam, and he said, "Now, they've about quit waving her back home. In our good land here, she's been abused, she's been burned, denied, dishonored, and refused, and the government for which she stands is often scandalized throughout our land. She's getting threadbare, and she's wearing thin. But he said she's in good shape for the shape she's in, because she's been through the fire before. We believe she could take a whole lot more. So we raise her up every morning. We let her down every night. We don't let her touch the ground. And we fold her up just right. On second thought, he said, I do like to brag, because I'm mighty proud of our ragged old flag. May God bless our boys and girls in uniform. May He bless each of us. And may God bless America.